Hello and welcome to BloombergQuint. JSW Energy has come out with its quarterly numbers, which are in line, and the profits did increase on tax reversals. Joining us, we are having company's joint MD and CEO, Mr. Prashant Jain. Hello, sir. How are you? Sir, I would like to ask you the question that, how has the operational performance been, for the quarter itself?
Operationally, if you see, our net generation was down by 10%, and primarily that was because of the lower merchant sales as well as lower offtake by the distribution companies. However, our deemed PLF was 72% in the quarter as compared to the year before 75%, and that reflects that because of the long-term PPA portfolio, our performance was quite robust.
Well, speaking of the plants, of your plants and how their operational performance was, the PLF numbers were a bit disappointing. So what was the reason for that?
Can you repeat your question?
The PLF numbers were actually reduced. Yeah. So what was it for?
It was because of two reasons, as I explained, that lower merchant sales, and second was lower offtake by the distribution company. There was a higher backdown by the distribution company.
And what about the debt restructuring agreement which you had for Jaiprakash Power Ventures? What's the update on that?
In case of JPVL, there was a 752 crores was total outstanding. Of that, 352 crores was converted into the equity at a carrying value at the time of the conversion was 62 crores. And balance out of 400 crore, 120 crores was converted into a priority debt, and 280 crores was written off by us, against which JPVL has waived off their right on 477 crores of contingent receivables. Of that 477 crores of the contingent receivable by JPVL, we are quite hopeful that we will be able to recover 400 crores. So in all, we will be recovering large part of the receivables from JPVL.
Well, sir, your acquisition plans were there for GMR, Kamlanga, and also for Ind Bharat. So, what is the update on that?
In case of GMR Kamlanga asset, the talks are progressing well, and in fact, it is in the last stage, and we see the visibility that in next couple of weeks' time, we will be announcing the share purchase agreement will be signed. And in case of Ind Bharat, the discussions are going on. I mean, the hearing is going on in NCLT. Post we submitted our resolution plan, and earlier we were having a visibility that it may get completed by 31st March, but I feel that it may be June or July sometime this year.
And so what about the receivables, to the company for the discoms? It is, that roughly the amount, stood at almost 1,428 crore rupees in March this year. So how much that amount has inched up?
It's pretty much the same as we are speaking. It may be a little lower than what it was in 31st March 2019. So we did pretty well as compared to the industry, because as you know that industry is having a overdue amount of close to 90,000 crore, and that is primarily the reason that because our power cost is pretty low, and so we get much better in the merit order dispatch as well as in terms of the receivable. So we are doing pretty good in that.
And in terms of any future plans, to add up, distressed assets, are you looking at any acquisition plans going ahead?
So never say no. We continue to look at various opportunities, and I think there are the two growth opportunities at this point of time we are pursuing in Bharat as well as Kamlanga, and other than that is a greenfield project Kutihar. And we are concentrating at this point of time in building the capability and developing sites for wind and solar. So in due course, we will be entering into renewable space. And if we find any good inorganic opportunity, we will certainly look at it.
Well, this quarter itself, the renewable space did well for the company as well. So going ahead for FY21 and FY22, what is your plans, if any kind of capacity expansion or any kind of a ballpark kind of investment, if you can give us any kind of a figure for that?
So we are looking at 10 gigawatt capacity in next 3 to 5 years time frame, and I think if we achieve that, then that will be a pretty good growth, and we will be putting all our actions towards to achieve that.
Well, speaking of that, the power sector itself, the demand generation, they are at pretty much low. So you did speak about, on a long-term basis, the growth will be there. So overall, right now, which the sector is, reeling under, and this time budget itself, there are hardly any kind of announcements for the power sector apart from the smart metering. So what do you think, lies ahead for the power sector and for your company as a whole?
I feel that power demand is going to bounce back, and we will be certainly growing close to 4 to 5%, and that means you are talking about close to 8 to 9 gigawatt capacity net demand which will be there, and to meet that incremental demand you will be requiring close to 25 to 30 gigawatt of renewable capacity, because I presume that people will not be setting up any more thermal capacity. It will be coming only from the renewable capacity, and that is a pretty good demand, and that will be accelerated because of the lower corporate tax which has been given to the power sector also for 15% for the projects which get completed before March 2023. And in addition that smart metering will be improving the receivable problem with the DISCOM. So all in all, it's a pretty good situation, and I think power sector is going to bounce back.
All right, sir. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for talking to BloombergQuint.